Welcome to the Not Nerd Podcast. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
Hello there. I am back from the lands of the land that time forgot, but nuclear testing remembered.
Yes.
Yeah, Arizona. It was quite the place.
Nice. Well, glad you made it back so that we can podcast in normality.
Yeah, we're in our full color. I don't have to use the camera on my laptop, which is garbage. It's huge garbage.
Yes.
Yes. So what do we got lined up for today? Of course, we were planning and getting things ready right up into the second.
Yes.
So, who knows what's going on?
No, we don't discuss the stories ahead of time. So.
And don't forget about the one thing that we talked about from across the pond.
Oh, yes.
Really, I don't know where we're going to put that in.
Yes, maybe we'll save that towards the end.
Okay.
A little teaser there. But let us get into some follow-up.
Let's do it. And we're going to hit the follow-up sound effect right now.
And before we get started, Chris Kent, good to see you on the YouTube live stream.
Yes,
we love
sir.
it when you guys are able to join us live. I understand that working around other people's schedules is not easy in this day and age.
And I imagine Chris sitting around with his family, like a radio type scenario.
Yes.
He doesn't even have the video on. He's just listening.
With some popcorn and hot chocolate.
And they had to wait for the show. It's like, Daddy, when will it be on? Just hold your horses there, Glenda. It's going to be on in a couple minutes. Just chill out. Jeez.
Yes, and Todd has joined us as well to say, teaser, I barely knew her.
Ooh,
yes.
I have never heard that one before.
Yes, well, into our follow-up, our first story. We had this in our Just the Headlines segment that does not exist on any other podcast, including the Mark and Toddcast.
Not at all.
But Max Park, I had mentioned the world fastest Rubik Cube solver. NPR and has a little profile of him, and it says, as a preteen, Max Park couldn't unscrew the cap of a water bottle, let alone try to tackle a Rubik's Cube. He lacked the fine motor skills, a symptom of his autism. Now at 21, Max can solve a Rubik's Cube in less time than it takes to read this sentence.
What?
The new world record for the fastest 3x3x3 Rubik's Cube time with 3.13 seconds on June 11th at a competition in Southern California.
That is mind-boggling. Honestly, without taking off the stickers, I still can't.
Yeah, no, we had that discussion. I think Isla had one, or my parents had one. We were all over there, and it's something I probably could figure out, but I just have never had the urge to learn Rubik's Cube. But his record tops the previous 3x3x3 record set nearly 5 years ago by China's Yu Shangdu at 3.47 seconds. So he shaved off 0.3 of a second.
How is this even possible? I mean, once it was under 30 seconds, how does it get any faster than that? Because, there's physical limitations to how fast you can do the thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. And Max, who holds the record for nearly all of the major cubing events, including the 7x7x7 cube.
I didn't know that existed.
I didn't either. I knew they're the triangle ones, or I've seen a 2x2x2, which I could probably do that one, but 7x7x7.
Do they have a 1x1x1?
Ooh, that maybe I could do.
It's just a dice with
just a dice.
6 colors.
I can figure that one out. I could probably get close to a world record on that. But it's speed cubing. It's big.
It's a thing.
It is a thing, and another thing, Meta says its new speech-generating AI model is too dangerous for the public, to which I say either it is too dangerous for the public or it's not that good, and they've got a really good excuse not to let it out there.
Yeah, so maybe it's just terrible. Is that what you're... And look on The Verge, which is a very prominent tech website, has 3 comments. Let's look at the comments. Anything else think Zuck's voice is the AI?
Ooh, we could only wish.
There are many exciting use cases for generative speech models. $, $, $. My name is not Bob says 11 Labs is light years ahead of this. If all we have to go by is this announcement and the info in the link, it's more versatile, natural sounding, and translation is coming.
Yes, I want to go try the 11 Labs. I looked at that a while ago, but that's kind of been the big one out there, kind of like the Chat GPT of voice, and this is for creating an artificial voice, and they have a bunch of like example ones on there of some famous people and stuff, but then you can also create your own. But very interesting technology, and I don't even think I put it in the show notes this week, but I was reading an article talking about that there's an AI video story, or AI video company that's actually going to do live translation. So like you could take our podcast, feed it through their software, and it would translate it into different languages. So
That would be cool.
Yeah, this stuff is moving at the speed of AI.
Well, I think
something like that.
I think we had a show title a long time ago called Banned in China. So maybe they would unban us if it was in the Chinese language.
Yeah, there we go.
Who knows?
There we go. And Wes has joined us and says we have the entire gang in the comments section tonight. So
Nice.
yes, the peanut gallery is, who are the two guys from the Muppets?
Waldorf and
The other guy?
the other guy.
Yes, indeed. Our next piece of follow-up, we were talking about DPReview, DPReview, the long-standing gold standard of camera review sites, and Amazon had bought them, and then Amazon was going to shut them down. Well, they have found somebody to buy them, so
Oh, good.
they're not going to go away. It seems like and it has kept going because everybody's like, okay, are they just done? But they've kept going with it.
And the two guys that one's a photographer, one's a videographer that do I cannot remember their names. They went on to another site. So
Yes.
they're still doing their thing and I follow them. So
Yes,
that's
and
all
their
I
names. Their names were not Statler and Waldorf,
Yeah, no.
but the Muppets,
Yeah.
the two guys in the balcony were Statler and Waldorf. Thank you,
course.
Todd. Only Todd would be able to chime in with that one
I need to
quickly.
play trivia with him sometime. He's probably got some knowledge that would
Yes.
come in useful.
Ooh, that's what we need, the Not Nerd Trivia team.
I went down with a friend, two couples on a double date to Newburgh to a place, and we did that. So let's all go to Newburgh to that place and do the trivia. We get a beer and be embarrassed by how
I don't know if they're
terrible.
still doing it, but for a long time they did it at the Marathon on one of the nights when I was not DJing, because that would be awkward if I was DJing while they did trivia. But back to DPReview, it's being acquired by Gear Patrol, an independently owned consumer technology site founded by Eric Yang in 2007. The deal has already closed. So.
Nice. So at least all the great content that is there is going to remain available on the internet for Google to scrape and make money off of.
Yes, and AI models to train off of.
Yeah.
And you know what else are training off of? Our everyone's favorite new segment, Just the Headlines.
All right. Yes, they are.
Okay, here we go. Mark Zuckerberg is ready to fight Elon Musk in a cage match.
I wish.
Police robots put on permanent patrol at Singapore airport.
Based.
Harvard scholar who studies honesty is accused of fabricating findings.
Of course.
Rivian is the next automaker to adopt Tesla's charging plugs. And Amazon will hold Prime Day 2023 on July 11th and 12th, adding invite-only deals and buy with Prime sites.
Very cool. It's so hard not to comment.
I know, but it's so many things. Like the last one, the Prime Day, we would talk about that for 2 minutes. It's like all you need is the date.
Well, and the Rivian, I'll just say this quickly, I'm seeing them more around. You can tell because they have those oblong... There's the pickup.
The headlights. Yeah.
They have the pickup and they have the SUV, and I've seen them both in my town because everybody in this town is rich but me.
Exactly. Well, you know what you are rich in, Dave.
What's that?
Dave's pro tip of the week.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. What? Say that again. You cut out there.
Dave's pro tip of the week.
Oh, there we go. So, yes, I am not a pro with firing off sounders. So my setup's a little messed up because I took a lot of stuff to Arizona to do our show.
Oh, yes.
Live
to
on the
switch
internet.
around and then get settled back in. And before you get into your pro tip, Todd is saying that the Elon Zuckerberg cage match story might be outdated because Elon's mom might have stepped in today and say he's not allowed to.
I did see that, but that's for our listeners to discover from the links. But yes, I believe it has been canceled. Was it even a real thing?
It was. They were on, but I believe her name is Faye Musk, who she is also a good follow on Twitter.
Is she really?
Okay. But she's quite the character as well.
I have not even known that she was on Twitter, but of course her son bought the company, so why wouldn't she be?
Yes.
Well, in today's pro tip of the week, to continue on, continuity camera has come up a couple times. What is continuity camera? How do you turn it on? In iOS 17, the Apple TV now has the ability to connect to your continuity camera so that you can do FaceTime videos and stuff. So it's kind of neat. I've tried the feature. It actually works. But how do you even turn the dumb thing on if you want to use it with your computer or other devices? Well, on your phone, and it may or may not work with iPads, but that's a time for another discussion. But on your phone for sure, which has the best cameras of any of the Apple devices that are out there, you need to go to settings, and you'll see here, I have settings, and it was quite in focus also. Then you're going to want to go to general. And yes, I could share my screen electronically, but holding it up in front of the camera is much more fun. And I'm going to switch over to this as well. Go to general, and then there is the AirPlay and handoff, right chair. Hit that guy. And then finally, continuity camera is there to turn on. And you'll notice some other things in there. There's automatically AirPlay to a device. Why would you ever want to do that? It is terribly frightening. You can transfer your audio to a HomePod, which I have HomePods now that I've not really revealed much on the show because I'm still kind of testing them out. But anyway, you can turn that on and off to tap it, and it switches. I'm gonna turn that on right now because I want to try that later. There's handoff, which I always forget the name of. This is like you're on your phone and you turn on Safari, and then when you go on your iPad, there at the bottom is a little icon for Safari, and you tap it, and it's like it's on the same web page that you were on. Yada yada yada. So that's how you turn on continuity camera. How you connect it with the various bits that want to use it is quite another matter. On your Mac, you need to go into the display settings, and you can go into the little plus, or actually I think it's under advanced, and turn on continuity. And anyway, it's a whole thing. Is it under display? Now I'm talking in circles. Regardless, as the year goes on, iOS 17 has a lot of new continuity camera outlets. So you're going to be hearing more about it. And as I try these things out, we're going to reveal more about our experience using them. And who knows, maybe in this show we'll talk about it more. I don't know.
Maybe later. Stick around towards the end. We're just teasing everything today.
Yes.
But yeah, the continuity camera. So this allows you to use it as like a web camera, which it's much better than most. Your iPhone camera is better than any webcam probably built into any computer anywhere. So you can do that. And it's got that desk mode thing where it can like look at your desk too. And it's a very nice feature to use a better camera for all those Zoom calls that you're hopefully not doing as many of these days.
Yeah, and it wasn't in the display settings for continuity camera on your Mac, but it's in there somewhere. And I'm looking up right now. I think it just works, right? If you're in
I
Zoom,
think it does. I think if you
setting.
go into something, you just switch to, like it would say, iPhone 14 Pro or whatever your iPhone is called.
Yeah.
Yes, and
So
then you can switch to that.
So you turn it on your phone and on your Mac. It's situationally aware.
Yes.
it will broadcast to your computer that it's available to use as a camera. So
And
it really,
wirelessly as
yeah,
well.
and it really depends on what application you're using. So FaceTime or Zoom or who knows.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Well, thank you for that one, continuity camera. And yes, it might come up again a little later in the show.
It may.
But let us move on first to our takes of the week.
Let's do it.
And I found this article. It was an interesting piece talking about a guy who had set up his own Mastodon instance. And he's talking about why did the Twitter migration, hashtag Twitter migration, fail.
I didn't know it failed.
Yes, well, Mastodon got a lot of buzz once Elon Musk took over Twitter, and everybody was going over there, and he's just talking through. Now, obviously, many people have different feelings, and a lot of people still use Mastodon, like on the Twit network. A lot of times they'll put on people's Mastodon names on there, but he is talking about for the masses, for the not nerds out there, that just the whole federation, and we've talked about this before, and the decentralization, one of his subheadlines or section headlines is decentralization is not a selling point for 99% of people. And I'm still somewhat confused by Mastodon. It just makes it tough to, Twitter, you sign up and you start seeing tweets from people.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of figured it out. I'm on that Twit Mastodon instance, and I have a lot of people that I used to follow on Twitter that I'm following on Mastodon. And so when you kind of have it set up, you launch it, and then it's all there. Your people are there. It looks just kind of like Twitter. Discovering new people or being part of the greater zeitgeist of happenings is a little harder. They do have your local feed, which is based on your whatever instance you're a part of, and then they have like a global feed. But like who and how decides what gets in the global feed? Like where's it coming from? Because the moderators could exclude servers or include other servers, and so it's not the same for everybody, which is a little disconcerting.
Yes, yeah. So just interesting to see that, and I think we had an article several months ago that there's a huge surge to Mastodon, then it's kind of faded back off. But
it has.
I am one of those suckers that I just love going on Twitter and looking at the For You. Excuse me, I'm getting a little emotional.
Get a little weepy.
The For You feed, and it's just really great because I get to see all these random tweets from all kinds of crazy people around the world.
It's usually with your fake duress there. I always love it when the opposing political figure gets elected or some billionaire buys a social network or whatever. There's literal people who are crying and I'm moving to Canada, and then 5 minutes later it's like the internet drama's over, so I'm just going to go back to normal. So I think you're back to normal now.
Yes. And at the very end of the article, this gentleman from blog.balloonface.com, he says, and to show where his biases might lean, he had mentioned this elsewhere in the article, I've decided to stop using Fedi, the Fediverse. I'm not going back to Twitter and will not use it while doing so delivers money, however small an amount, to Elon Musk. And then he has some choice words.
He's a billionaire. What? Your 12 cents is not going to matter.
Yes, indeed. And Todd did say he had no idea that continuity camera existed. And all his other classmates are going to be so jealous of his video quality on Zoom.
It's going to turn way up.
Yes, indeed. Well, the next one, this one is actually related to my theory of holistic cost. There it is.
I read the show notes.
Yeah, so this is another take from Raptitude.com. Getting better at being human. Maybe I should spend more time on this site.
What are this human thing you described?
Yes. But The article is entitled "Everything Must Be Paid For Twice." And it starts off, one financial lesson they should teach in school is that most of the things we buy have to be paid for twice.
Mm-hmm.
There's the first price, usually paid in dollars, just to gain possession of the desired thing, whatever it is, a book, a budgeting app, a unicycle, a bundle of kale. But then in order to make use of the thing, you must also pay a second price. This is the effort and initiative required to gain its benefits, and it can be much higher than the first price. So one of the examples he gives is a new novel, for example, might require $20 for its first price and 10 hours of dedicated reading time for its second. Only the second price is being paid. Do you see any return on the first one? Paying only the first price, which I mostly put this into the show to remind me that I pay the first price on a lot of things, and then the second price I have a hard time getting around to. Like I was telling you, Dave, before the show, I bought this. It's a TCL smartphone that was on sale on Amazon, and I was going to test it out. It's supposed to have this great camera and everything. Well, tomorrow it's going back to Amazon, and I didn't spend a whole lot of time with it because it's, time is, I feel, a lot more valuable in a lot of cases than money, and so weighing all of that out. But
I think I'm coining a new phrase.
Yes.
Time is money.
What?
I just coined a new phrase. The world. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So this article is interesting because I totally see that with taxes, right? I earn a salary, it gets taxed, and then I buy an item with that money that's been taxed, and there's a tax taken away by buying that item, and then just existing there's a tax. But I hadn't really thought of the time investment. Now, one thing that does come to mind, I was going to do my fancy sky cam, but I don't know, you can't see my gaming systems. Well, like right back here, there's a Nintendo Switch, and there's an Xbox right there. So I may buy a $5 game, but it may require 100 hours to complete the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that would be maybe a prime example.
Well, and I was thinking about it too. And holistic cost, which I'll put a link in the show notes if you want to go watch my video, is based upon the terms time, energy, results, money, and satisfaction. Now, I will say, for his example of a book, I see three prices on that because there's the first price of paying for it, and then I start to get a reward just by having it on my bookshelf, because if anybody sees it, then they think I'm cool.
Well, see,
then there's the third price of if I ever read it.
Well,
so,
you gain that knowledge, because that's what I would call a return. The return is clout. And
I start getting return after the first price just by having it in my possession. And then the true benefit would come from what he's talking about.
When you're completely done with it, you can level a table with it, so it just keeps on giving.
Yes.
So there you go.
And,
I can't level a table with a digital game.
Yes. And Chris said, you must have a lot of unread books, to which I will say, you have no idea how many books on my bookshelf have not been read.
You have no idea how unintelligent he is because he never read those books.
Yes, but hey, I look really cool because I have these books on my shelf. But yes, anyways, this next one, I've heard some discussion on other tech podcasts, but the EU, European Union, wants readily removable batteries in devices soon. But what does that mean?
Exactly. What does it mean?
So, the EU has, there's a good chance that the iPhone will switch to USB-C due to the EU, SIM cards, all kinds of different stuff. The EU has a little bit of power in the world, and so they seem to push the they push the boundaries on this stuff. So they're saying as early as 2027. But the question is, how do you write this with or let's take my AirPods. My AirPods are tiny. Is that going to have a removable battery in it?
I don't know.
But smartphones, how removable is the iPhone battery going to have to be? Apple can replace it for me. I can rent that super expensive kit from them and replace it myself.
Yeah, and I'm live scaling because I'm disappointed that my ad blocker is not blocking these stupid ads. What is going on here? Did they find a way to defeat me?
Yes.
I'll show you.
They always do.
All right. Well, yeah. So, anyway, so there we go. It's a little bit closer, but yes, this is a topic of much debate. I don't think we're going to see devices where you have to open them up or slide out a battery. I think the idea is that it's more repairable. So if you take it to Apple or a third-party shop, they can open it, break the hermetic seal with all of the IP ratings and stuff, just unplug the battery, put it in, versus, and I've done this in a MacBook before, it has the terraced battery, which is in two sections with cables in between, and they are literally glued onto the case.
Yes.
And you know what happens when you break or puncture batteries? It's never a good thing.
No.
So it's very difficult to do these things. It would have been better maybe just some double stick tape though. Pops right out there. I don't know.
Yeah, or just the Apple in their design, but yeah, just like on a laptop, a lot of laptops where you can just pop off a battery and put a new one on. Mm-hmm. I say they should just require everybody to just use AAAs for everything.
That'd be perfect. Well, maybe AA, but yeah, I see your point.
AAAs would be a little thinner. Keep my laptop a little thinner with AAAs. I was thinking 9 volt, or just like 250 watch batteries that you have to all line up in there on the spring just right, and then put the top or the back on real quick.
Well, I honestly think it should be 4A batteries, those really small ones, and then I'm going to buy stock in the company that makes the 4A batteries.
There we go. Let's get a meeting with the EU. Hey, EU, if you're listening,
of course they are.
Give us a call. We've got ideas. In this next story, this is actually a sad one and a good reminder that just because you put an AirTag in your car and somebody stole your car, that you should probably not chase them down on your own. And a woman ended up passing away after being shot by the people that stole her vehicle. And a 61-year-old Bakersfield woman. And she confronted the suspects before calling the police or anything. So, yeah,
not good.
Careful out there, people.
The streets of Bakersfield, not a good place.
Yes, indeed. But we'll cheer up with a security and privacy story.
We will.
Potentially millions,
keep going.
Millions of Android TVs and phones come with malware pre-installed.
Well, how else are you going to get it on there if it's not pre-installed? Yeah, that one that you're returning probably is infected your
TCL.
network.
That's the same brand as my TV. They've got to be good, right?
They've got to be.
So they're saying that, pre-installed software, some of it that's really hard to even get off there because it's put into chips and that kind of stuff. And
yeah, I mean, what's to stop a manufacturer? What's to stop a chip that's manufactured in China from having some code inserted by a government into the code, or even just somebody trying to take advantage of somebody, and then they manufacture those and send them all over the world in all these devices. Just these commodity chips that are in everything.
Well, and if you have, a site like Temu where you're buying a TV for $35 or whatever it is, which my mom forwarded me a text copy and paste that one of her friends had sent her about how Temu was. We knew they were Chinese, but that they're spying on everything you do and listening in and doing all that stuff.
Did she send you the one that's, I do not give Facebook permission to have
No, but I still see those come up all the time from people. And yes, Todd, that was millions with an M.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't get that in there with the music coming in, but... you just got to be careful with this stuff. My TV is TCL, and I've got an Apple TV. I keep meaning to just go in there and like turning the Wi-Fi off just because there's no reason for the TV to be connected to the internet.
The same with mine, but I can't set the picture on it because it's the frame.
Oh,
I have
the
to have it
frame
on the
TV.
network, and I'm not sure if I have to have it on the internet, but it has to be on the network at least. And it's just too hard to know how to do.
But yours is a Samsung, which I would say that we could probably trust more than, some of these no-name brands.
It's from Korea, which is an ally, so hopefully.
Yeah,
But they still get parts from China. I mean,
yes, who are our allies anyways. But multiple lines of Android devices came with pre-installed malware that couldn't be removed without users taking heroic measures.
Nice.
Yes. Well, let us truly cleanse our palate with a fun little video I found. Treadmill racing, Mario Kart versus Disney Pixar cars. And this is actually a cool website. I started peeking around a little bit. It's thekidssshouldseethis.com, and it's curated content of different educational and fun videos. But this guy set up a treadmill with a ton of little toy Mario Kart and Disney cars, and then he races them.
All right, today we have Mario Kart versus Disney.
Starts up the treadmill, and this stuff's riveting. I've seen TikTok videos too where they do different stuff like this, these kind of races, and so the treadmill gets going. A lot of the cars just end up the back, but Lightning McQueen's losing. Then he comes back and he's
That's
pushing
pretty
around,
cool.
And
Doc is up there. I don't know the other guy.
Oh,
yeah.
Toad just went for a spill, but
seems like
fun
the
little
Lightning
videos.
Seems like the Pixar cars are doing better than any of the others. So
yes, well, as they should.
I hope so. I mean, it's based on racing. I'd hope.
Well, and the Mario Kart cars. Vehicles don't have their weapons. They can't throw any shells at the other ones. So
I was playing Mario Kart the other day, as one does.
Yeah.
Man, freaking blue shells.
Yeah.
Why do those even exist? Some guy way in the back who sucks gets a blue shell, and I'm up front, hits it, and then like 2 feet from the finish line, some guy passes me. It's like, come on, Yoshi. You didn't deserve that win.
So, click through the show notes to watch that video, and then take a look around. The kids should see this. They've got a bunch of different sections on there: science, tech, space, animals, nature, food, do-it-yourself, music, history. Keep those kids creative and show them some fun stuff. And if you have a treadmill, shoot us some videos with some cars. I've got, Dave, you're going to be shocked, and the listeners as well. I have a large collection of Hot Wheels cars.
Come on, really?
Yeah. It's my one thing that I collect.
No, it's not.
Oh, wait, it's not.
It's the one of these days you're going to say, this is the one thing I don't collect.
Yes,
and I'll be like, what?
The things that I don't collect are things of value. So that's the dividing line there. So
you collect memories, and those are priceless.
Yes. And Todd said, is there an open audio channel on? There's a super slight hum hiss interference of some sort. Sort of sounds like my laptop fan.
Well,
so maybe, Dave, that's your fan in your warm office there.
Yes, I could stand up. Here, I'll get a little closer, Todd. See, does that increase the sound? It probably does. I could go unplug it, but the show's about over. So
yes.
My apologies to our dear listeners.
And I cannot hear it on my side, and that's what really matters.
Yeah, we don't care about the audience. It's whether our audio is really good or not.
Yes, and you know what else really matters? Our picks of the
You forgot again.
Picks of the week.
There you go.
I said it in an obvious place, but it wasn't in the obvious place where I was set to look at it.
You just need to have it hanging down from the ceiling wrestlers.
You need to have a button on your side that when I get ready to say it, that it drops down on a rope and I can just say, Picks of the week.
That would be amazing. I should really figure out how to turn on that effect. I'll figure it out one of these days. You know what? With all of our echoey, there's the multiple channels. I'll just turn one on and it'll
turn in a couple extra channels on, and you'll automatic echo.
The fan channel along with 17 Nates.
Yes.
So yes, our picks of the week, and I did find something, even though it was very last minute on my behalf. I'm picking the last thing I purchased. Well, with the very last thing I purchased, nobody'd be interested in. But this, keeping with our video game theme of Mario Kart, is I purchased. Now this isn't it. This is the original JoyCon controller. Nub for the Joy-Cons for Nintendo Switch. So I am not Vanna White, that is for sure. So there we go. So the replacement that I got, the word on the street, and I've experienced this with the Joy-Cons, and I got to get my prop here. After a while, and yes, that's the fancy Zelda one, and no, you can't have it. There's drift that's introduced. Dirt gets in there, and they're not cheaply made, but the design is not great. And so build-up happens, and then your guy just starts going left all the time when you're trying to stand still. It kills you in pretty much every game. Well, the Hall effect, which are these guys, you'll never guess what the Hall sensing or the Hall effect is. If you could imagine in your mind, which is the only place you can imagine, what do you think is in these to cause no friction, but there's still movement, and there's going to be no buildup because it's not a physical connection? What do you think it is?
A hallway of air.
I mean, kind of. The word I'm looking for, magnets.
Oh, magnets.
Yeah.
If I would have looked in the show notes and read, I try not to peek at that. But
yes, it's the Switch Joystick Joy-Con replacement Gulikit for Switch No Drift Hall Electromagnetic Joy-Con joystick with Hall effect sensor for Nintendo Switch OLED Lite. And it's instead of having a physical button that rubs on a thing or whatever or presses, it's just two magnets, and there's a sensor in there that can detect the strength of the magnetic field. And I mean, it should last forever. I mean,
well, the key here, it's right there in the name, is it's a Joysitck, not a joystick.
Oh,
so they spelled it wrong in their own Amazon listing.
Yeah, it's
there,
not a joystick; it's a Joysitck.
Yes.
Careful saying that one.
Yes. Speaking of Nintendo Switches, a quick sidestep.
Oh, I don't know if I have that. I do.
There we go. My nephew was in town this weekend, and he has a Switch and whatever the latest Pokemon game is, and I showed interest at one point and got a full rundown of every battle that he had for the entire weekend and how strong his characters were getting.
So, is that a Pokemon? Oh, 27 hours later.
Yes,
yeah.
Which I don't mind. I'm glad that he's excited about it, and it was fun. But yeah, so you got some replacement nubs for your joysticks.
I did.
I could see that would be, especially with the Switch, where you're carrying it around. You got Cheeto dust. You got
it's just
the elements.
And yes, you can send them to Nintendo to fix for free. But one, you have to ship them there. And two, who knows how long they'll keep them. And three, they reserve the right to not return yours. They, like if I had those fancy Zelda ones that I have.
Yeah, they could just replace it with
give
some
me a
standard
blue one or something. It's like, come on, it's Zelda.
Yeah.
This is not part of my pick, but I also got one of these because when I tried to replace one of those knobs, I broke this part. So that's a consolation prize.
Very nice. Well, before I get to my pick, thank you, Todd, for his comment saying it's exhilarating watching Nate do his segment segues live. It is just as exhilarating for me. Can you watch the wheels in my brain? Is there a little steam that comes out as I quickly try to put something together? But my pick of the week this week, speaking of continuity camera, it has to do with that. So now one of the things is you have your phone, but what do you do with it? Do you just hold it in your hand? No, you don't.
Not
And
like
you
some
can buy,
loser.
Yeah, you can buy all kinds of fancy devices, but we have a couple favorite companies. We've got Small Rig. I really like Newer for little camera accessories, tech accessories.
Anchor's one.
Anchor, a bunch of these different ones that we buy a lot that I collect products from. Well, another one that I've bought a couple products, I think I have a couple lights from them, is ULANZI, ULANZI. And I purchased the ULANZI MK01 continuity camera mount for MacBook, iPhone camera mount compatible with MagSafe for iPhone 14, 13, 12, magnetic phone webcam mount with desk view support, iOS 16, and macOS Ventura.
Wow. You could be on one of those submarines that goes to the Titanic with breath-holding power like that.
Too soon. But this is the product, and I was actually going to set my phone up on it and go live with that, but it gives you like this super wide angle thing, and I didn't figure it out, and I figured you'd rather see it.
Your exercise clothes hanging on your treadmill in the corner, yeah.
So it's a little round disc, and it's got this clip on it, the solo view.
There we go.
So it's got a little clip, so it just clips right over where your webcam goes on your laptop, and it has a magnet there, so it will...
Oh, you could use that in your Nintendo Switch controllers.
You can... And my skin's still working good on there.
Great.
The bottom kind of gets a little off.
It looks so good, though.
So then you can do that, mount it on there. And then you have your continuity camera right where you need it. Now, something else I figured out as I was reviewing the Amazon product page for the show, that this little magnet here actually pops out.
Yowza.
And you can replace it with an official Apple MagSafe cable. So you can be charging your phone while you're using continuity camera and keep it charged.
That goes with the ABCs of travel. Always be charging.
Always be charging. Yeah. Always be continuitying.
Exactly.
Yes, we're going to have to do those ABCs. Maybe we'll do a bonus episode or video one of these weeks to discuss that, because we already go long enough. And it's also got, if you don't want to clip it onto your laptop, like if you need a little higher, like we do with our cameras, the magnet piece has a tripod mount. So you could mount it onto, get it over my face.
Oh, yeah.
So it's got a little 1/4-20 there. So if you had a tripod with an angle on it, you could get it wherever you wanted. So
very cool.
This only has 4.5 stars on 51 ratings. But Dave and the listeners, we'll give them a couple seconds. I should have teased this earlier. What would you pay for the ULANZI MK01 continuity camera mount with the magnet attachment, the clip, came in a box?
Hey, Nate, maybe we should do my reveal now while they're thinking of prices.
Yeah. Do your reveal. You guys, anybody on the live stream, go ahead and put your guesses in there on the price.
I have something in my mind.
No cheating looking on Amazon. But yes, Dave, we almost forgot. You have a special reveal that you got via the United States Postal Service and another postal service.
Yes. So my wife goes out to get the mail today, and she brings in this box, and she's like, "What did you order?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It's like this box here, like Amazon Prime." I'm like, and I see that it's from, there was a famous song about it, "The Land Down Under." And I'm thinking, who in the world would send me something from Australia? And I thought some more. And I'm like, I only know one person that lives in Australia. So Elliot sent me, and I sent him some texts. He hasn't replied yet. And I sent him some fun photos as well. I think it's because I have a big birthday coming up next month. And he felt compelled to send me a gift. But to my dismay, and I'm looking for, so first thing I do is I open it up, and there's a newspaper with things were wrapped in it. But I mean, I was going through, and I'm like, okay, what's happening there in Melbourne. And I got, there's an Apple ad, so you can see how expensive things are there. But wrapped in the paper was also, I first saw these things, 2 boxes of roasted dandelion blend tea. Is that something that is known in Australia? Okay. Yeah. Well, also on the packing slip, it said contents, just candy. And I'm like, he wouldn't send me candy from Australia because I got a Target right 10 feet from my house. But he sent some Allen's Yaffas. Have you ever heard of these things? I don't know what these things are. I don't know. I'm beginning to think that these are regifted items, maybe, with the dandelion. Well, I just have it on the
Or
ones.
my audio.
Oh, your audio.
Does my audio not work on the single view?
Let's troubleshoot that real quick. So I'm going to go into the single view because we want to make sure Nate's audio is now. Can say something now.
Now it's working. You had me muted. He likes to have full control and be able to take over.
Yeah, I don't like Nate to talk when I'm in full screen.
Interrupting.
Yeah, so.
Okay, that would make sense.
Okay.
I said some very witty things while my audio cut out there while he was talking about his candies. I do not know anything about the tea or those candies, but
okay.
And it's back, Todd says.
Okay, so the tea and the candy is not a thing that you're aware of.
Yes.
Okay, so then also, I was treated to this little guy. One broken nacho chip, corn chip.
Wow. Elliot went all out for you.
I know. And I'm sure that he did not intend for it to be broken. I'm sure it was a whole chip when he put it in there. So I guess bad on you, Australian and American government mail employees.
Yes.
I found
we might have to have him on the show. I know he's been doing some traveling, but to have him explain the magic of tortilla chips and tea and candy.
I found another one on the floor. And then the true gift is I've saved it for last. The true gift is a beautiful picture of Elliot giving me, oh, come on.
Giving you the heart hands?
Give me the heart hands. I guess I got too close. That was beautiful. I nearly cried when I saw that. That was worth the whole thing.
Yes.
And, of course, I'm going to read the paper later. But thank you, Elliot, from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah.
I love it. I've got a big birthday coming up. I'm going to be 30.
Yeah.
So
I'll have to let you borrow my Look Who's 30 hat
Look Who's
that I
30
have worn for the last 15 years.
Oh, and speaking
for my
of
birthday.
Speaking of hats, what do you have on today?
It's 10 Barrel Brewing, which is a Bend owned brewery here. I was looking through hats, and it's not one of my favorites, but I realized as I was looking through some hats that I have a lot of brewery trucker hats, and I don't know if that's because I end up at a lot of breweries.
Do we need to
or
talk?
A lot of them have.
Are you doing
trucker
okay,
hats.
Nate? Are you doing okay?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a combination of both, but 10 barrels. So we're just going with that one today. But I've got some things in the works considering my regarding my trucker hat collection. Some more information on that coming soon. But anyways, okay, so back to the ULANZI.
Yes.
Dave, what is your guess?
Well,
25 minutes later.
I have not looked at the comments because I don't know how.
Yeah.
I don't. I'll break something if I look.
That's why I figured I'd have you go first.
Yeah. I'm guessing $12.95.
$12.95. That is actually Todd guessed $12.99, and Chris guessed $8.99.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Yes, it was $9.95.
Chris
so
wins.
In between,
So
Chris was the closest.
With the Price is Right rules, if you
Yes.
go over, you bust. So He
Yeah,
won.
well, and Todd did say, or $1 if we're doing Price is Right rules, but we will do closest to.
Well, still, Chris won either way. So
Yes, and Chris thought maybe Customs ate the other chips, and Todd thinks maybe Elliot was just snacking while he was packing and it fell in.
it was in his mustache and just fell out.
The true reason I wore this hat is because they're from Bend, and Chris reminded me that he lived in Bend for 15 years. So
Nice.
This one goes out to you.
Very cool.
And Todd is guessing that my hat collection will be displayed at OLED, which that probably would be worthy. I will talk to OLED.
They'd have to build a new wing.
Yes, they would. They'd have to do an outdoor extension of OLED for my hat collection. But, well, with that was a lot of fun. Don't forget, for our picks, you can go to notpicks.com and check those out and go purchase them wherever they are available from. Thank you so much for those who joined us live, those that will watch later, listen later, read the show notes and not do anything else,
The AI-generated show notes? No.
Oh, yes. I could if there is anybody that would like the AI-generated transcript posted somewhere, I could do that for you because I've started doing that for my timestamps.
I guess you could put it on the website so that Google scrapes it, and so people might...
Yeah, just kind of tag it on to the end of the show notes. Just put It does pretty good. I do not pronounce some things well. I should go back and check and see how it does with vulnerability.
Can you say the word vibranium?
Vibranium.
Nice.
But your name, it doesn't spell correctly, but I'm sure I could easily train it to do that. But
yes.
Yes. Anyways, before we go on for another 10 minutes, any other stories from your life, Dave, or anybody on the live stream? We will wrap up this show. Thank you again for participating in whichever way you do. Share it with a friend so that we can all get out there and tech better.
Bye!